up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the politics and BS. All right. First and foremost, if you're not registered to vote, make sure you are registered in your county. If you are registered, double check your registration to make sure you are on the voter rolls, because they are purging voters from the voter registrations across the country. And make sure you know your polling place and vote early. Do not wait until election day, and do not vote for Donald Trump. And I would even venture to say, do not vote for anyone that is connected to Donald Trump if they are on the same party ticket, because more often than not these days, those people align with his views. And I'm not saying you have to be a Democrat to do that, because I'm not. I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. But what I do believe is that people in this country should have freedom of choice. And just because you choose to be a believer in God and Jesus and all of the things that come along with that, doesn't mean that you have the right to impose your beliefs on other people, because I feel like you treat people the way you want to be treated. And if I'm not a Muslim, I wouldn't want anybody imposing their Muslim views and beliefs on me. And this is not a Christian country. This is not a Muslim country. It's not a Hindu country. It's supposed to be about freedom, period. So with all of that being said, Donald Trump is a load of shit. Now, I knew about this for a minute now, and I'm just talking about it right now because it's just so utterly disgusting how anyone could want this man to be the leader of the free world when he doesn't give a damn about anybody but himself. Now, his nephew, who is Mary Trump's brother, we know Mary Trump, right? She has been a staunch critic of her uncle for a while now. She wrote the book about Donald Trump, and I'm here for everything that she has to say, because she has not been wrong about anything with regards to her predictions about her uncle and the way that he would operate if he got into office. She tried to warn us. So now Fred Trump has come out. He's written a book called All in the Family, and he shared a few things about his uncle, and none of it surprises me, but to know that this man has a disabled son, and Donald Trump pretty much implied, don't waste your money on him anymore. Let him die. This person, who is 78 years old, living his life blissfully, eating McDonald's and whatever else he eats every day, drinking his Diet Cokes, not taking care of his health at all, but for whatever reason, God allows him to continue to live and breathe. But he believes that somebody who is disabled really should just stop milking the system and just go ahead and die, because he's a waste of space, time, and money. It's just disgusting. But this is the man that these so-called Christians believe should be in office.
Fred Trump III, the son of Trump's older brother, Fred Trump Jr., and brother of frequent critic Mary Trump, has now come out in support of Kamala Harris. The endorsement comes as Fred Trump releases a new memoir, which has the title, All in the Family, The Trumps and How We Got This Way. In the book, Fred takes readers behind the scenes of the family dynamic that he says helped create the former president. And Fred joins us now here on set. Good to see you. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Let's just start simply with this. Why now? Why speak out now?
There are two reasons, and we haven't started now. My wife Lisa and I have been advocating for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Our young son, William, has complex disabilities. We've been doing so through the legislative and through the executive branch. We have met during Donald's term with cabinet secretaries, and a meeting that culminated in May of 2020 in the Oval Office. So we haven't just started. We waited for the book. We wanted to wait for William to become settled in a new home environment. He doesn't live with us now. He lives in a group home. We wanted him to be settled. But we've been thinking about this for a while.
Tell us more about what Donald Trump has said about your son.
Donald has never met William, ever. In fact, no one in the Trump family other than two of my cousins have met William.
Do you hear that? He's never even met him. Like, he refuses to see this young man who has these disabilities. Amongst other family members, he said only two of his cousins have ever even met his son.
So, when he said what he did to me, when a fund that had been set up for William's health, for his therapeutic needs, and I just want to clear something up. The reason a fund existed is because Donald orchestrated a plan to take my sister and me out of my grandfather's inheritance.
Now, for those who already knew this, because Mary Trump talked about this before, Donald Trump, the man that these so-called Christians want to be the president of the United States, he orchestrated a plan to remove his other family members from an inheritance. But yet, these low-level, just bottom of the barrel people out here talking about stimulus checks. Well, yeah, we need him back in office so we can get another stimulus check. Tell me how $600 to $1,200 is going to help you to get through the next 4 years. Because I'm going to tell you, $600 ain't getting me through the next 24 hours. Seriously. It's so stupid, some of the things that people say. But he would remove family members from an inheritance, orchestrate a plan to have it done. But people really think he cares about their individual needs.
Which went back days after William was released, after 7 weeks in hospital. Al, you'll remember that in the city. You have to understand that Donald was my trustee. He was my trustee, which meant he was supposed to protect me and my family. He did the exact opposite. So the fund was my money, but I had to ask for it back, which was troubling. So when the fund was running low, I called Donald and I mentioned that. And he said, "Your son doesn't recognize you. Let him die and move to Florida." Now, I don't know how you can explain that away, the cruelty of that comment. But as you'll read in All in the Family, he had said something very similar in our last Oval Office meeting with a group of advocates. He had called me back into the office when everyone dispersed and said, those people, all those expenses, they should just die.
Now, if anybody doubts that he said that, then you just don't want to face the truth that he is a cruel individual. And I believe every word that Fred is saying that Donald Trump said about disabled people. And the truth of the matter is, he is a huge disability. Like, he has been such a nuisance on the American people for so long that that's why a lot of people are so energized about Kamala Harris being the Democratic nominee to knock him out. Because I hate to say it, it's not so much about Kamala Harris being this great person. It's about the fact that people feel like they really have a chance to get rid of him for good by having a better alternative. Because although I would have voted for Joe Biden if he was on life support as opposed to Donald Trump, I believe that a lot of people just felt like a huge sigh of relief when he stepped down and said, you know what, I'm going to pass the baton over to Kamala. And people really felt like, okay, now we really have a shot and a chance of getting rid of him. Not even so much a chance of greater things happening for the country. And although I believe that that can happen with her being in office, I'm not saying that it can't. I believe more people were just hanging on for dear life when it came to Joe Biden because they want to be rid of him. It's like, why is he here torturing us? Leave us alone. Like, just go to sleep and don't wake up. I'm not wishing any violence be done on him, but plenty of people go to sleep and they don't wake up anymore. Like, do that. Like, just leave us alone. And so for him to believe that disabled people are just a huge burden on society and they're wasting so much people's money, why don't they just roll over and die? A lot of people feel that same way about him.
So it's hard to wrap your head around that.
We should note Donald Trump disputes this account. He said that in a statement, I helped him so much more than anyone else in his life, and this is the thanks I get. Eric Trump, the president's son, took to Twitter X last night saying it's disappointing that after decades of unwavering love, support, golf memberships, et cetera, that you have decided to cash in his words, less than 100 days. So talk to us about this family dynamic now and respond to what they're saying.
You know, the dynamic started when I was very young, when I was able to grasp it and understand that I am one of the only people that knew Donald in his formative years, through his business career, and during his presidency and after. So I know Donald as well as anybody. My father, his older brother, Freddie, wanted nothing to do with the family business. But my grandfather, who was very tough, wanted him to. My father wanted to be an airline pilot and wound up being an airline pilot in the early 60s. That was quite a feat. But Donald, who was given the path by my father to do what he wanted to do, to run the family business, just demeaned my father for no reason other than his need to feel superior to other people.
And there that goes. Like, that has been him his entire life. He's been given everything because, unlike Fred Trump's father, who decided to make something of himself without daddy's help and becoming an airline pilot, actually obtaining real legitimate skills, all Donald Trump did was leech off of his daddy and be able to live the life and the lifestyle that he has been able to live because he, quote unquote, took over the father's business. And so it wasn't like he was actually doing the work. They had staff. They had other people involved. But because of who he was, his name, and everything that came along with that, he's been able to live a fraudulent life of being a great, successful businessman. And he really actually wasn't. Just like he loves to claim that he's been the best president, all of that is a lie. Everything that he says about himself that is good, it's what he wishes that he was. And everything that he says about other people that is bad, it's projection because he's pushing it off of himself to put it on other people. Donald Trump is a load of shit, okay? And the fact that anybody believes that he is supposed to be the leader of the free world, the president of the United States, truly should have their heads examined. I would much rather have a female as president over him. Hell, I'd much rather have a frog as president of the United States over Donald Trump, okay? I am over hearing about him. I don't get joy and pleasure talking about him. I really am ready for the day when he will be a distant memory. But until that happens, I'm going to continue to call attention to the load of shit that he actually is and encourage other people to keep your ears and eyes open to what is going on and know that nothing that he has planned is going to be for the majority. And when I say the majority of people, I'm not talking about a race or ethnicity. I'm talking about the majority of the people, because all he cares about is himself and those 1 to 3 percenters financially that he either believes he's a part of or he could benefit from. It's never going to be something that's going to be beneficial for the majority of the people in this country. So I implore you to make sure you're registered and make sure you vote early. So, yeah, tell me what you think about what Fred Trump had to say about his uncle. There's more where that came from. He has written a book called All in the Family, The Trumps and How We Got This Way. I'm probably going to get it and check it out. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.